back to MTN Live in the Mountains. I'm here with Mr. Rodney Sutton. He is the new Executive Director for Mountain Home Music. How are you doing today?
I'm doing really great. I'm glad I finally got in here.
I know. We've been trying to get you in here for a while, but we finally got you in here. Thank you for being here. And he's here to talk about a very special event that they're going to be doing in a couple of days. So, but first of all, tell us a little bit of what Mountain Home Music is.
Mountain Home Music is a concert series that was started by Joe Shannon, the original director and organizer of the concert series. And Joe ran Mountain Home Music for 20 years. And last year at this concert that's coming up, the Appalachian Christmas Concert, which always ends the season for Mountain Home Music, Joe announced that his cancer had come back, and that this would be his last season. And but he started right then by saying, I want this to continue on, and the board of Mountain Home Music started looking for someone to step in and take on the directorship of the concert series. And so I kind of just happened into this position, but it's been a wonderful ride this year.
Well, congratulations.
Yes, and what ended up happening was Joe's health declined. I was in contact with Joe, booking the Greengrass Cloggers to be a part of the concert series in July, and it was through that contact with him that I eventually, through Cecil Gurganus, who plays with the Laurel Creek String Band, a mutual friend with Joe and I, suggested that I maybe be considered for taking on the position, and that's how it worked out. And so Joe and I never knew each other personally, but we had dozens and dozens of mutual friends. And then Joe went down to Florida in the spring, spent his last days, and ended up passing away in May. And so we, in his memory and in his honor, we've continued on with Mountain Home Music for this season.
Well, that is absolutely wonderful. Thank you for sharing. And I know you guys are doing a very amazing job at keeping that tradition alive. And I know he's greatly missed, but yeah, he started Mountain Home Music for the keeping tradition, to mainly keep tradition alive. And I believe I read that he said, you know, there wasn't really anywhere where people with the traditional Appalachian music could come and perform. So he gave them that outlet, and we owe a lot to what I know about music, the Appalachian music, to him for keeping that alive. So.
Yeah, he did his very first concert down on King Street at Daily Bread, and somehow he actually said that it was involved with the fact that there was going to be some local programming on television, and that so he had this idea that he could recreate live performance, and his whole premises was to give access or exposure to the best musicians that you'd never heard of, to a paying, appreciative audience. And so that was his reason for starting the concert series, and it grew slowly. From the beginning, he was working with ASU, and a lot of the early shows were recorded and presented on both the station at ASU and on one of the local public stations. I'm not sure which one. We should have looked that up before we got in here.
Okay.
But anyway, but thank you guys for carrying on that role of giving access to so many nonprofits and so many organizations through your public access television
absolutely.
station.
And that's one reason why I love doing this job. I love giving people an outlet to share their story, to people in the community, and musicians to come and play. That's what's so great about this job, because I love meeting new people just like you.
Well, yeah, it's so great, the connection that we have from both being Flatlanders and
yes, we are.
being up here in the...
But don't tell anybody that.
Oh, yeah, so it's okay.
We're locals around here now.
Right, we are, yes. Well, I think it's a plus. So it just shows that we're smart to come up this way.
You know what? So. That's a good way to look at it. I'm gonna continue to use
smarter.
that.
It's like some people were born here, and we're here by choice.
Right. There you go. That's a good way to put it. So tell us a little bit about the Appalachian Christmas. Like, what can we expect?
Well, it's a variety show. It's a free performance, and it's a benefit. And this is the way Joe ended his concert series for many, many years. We're not sure how many, what year this marks, but we know that for many, many years he would always end his series with the Appalachian Christmas concert, and it's always been a benefit. And this year, as it has been for the last number of years, all of the money that's raised at the concert goes directly to two organizations, Hospitality House, which you know a lot about,
yes.
and also Santa's Toy Box. And so the performers are donating their time, and this year we're lucky to feature members of the Mountain Home Music Bluegrass Boys, which our audience and people in the high country would definitely know these fellows. They're the house band really for Joe Shannon's Mountain Home Music, and they play throughout the season. Mm-hmm. Featuring Dave Johnson and Scott Freeman, and they're the two regular members that are going to be with us on Saturday night, and also Eric Ellis, and I'm not sure who else Dave is going to bring along with him. Also, two members of the Sheets family, Deborah Jean and her daughter Kelly, have worked up some traditional Appalachian songs to sing. Looks like Randy's not going to be able to join us because his mother's health issues are such that he probably is not going to be there. That'll be a surprise if Randy Sheets can come and join us. And also the Laurel Creek String Band. Once again, our good buddy Cecil is not going to be able to make it, Cecil Gurganus, but Trevor McKenzie and hopefully Adam Jarrell and Brandon Holder.
Those are all good musicians.
Really
I know about them. They're very good.
And we'll be talking about some of the traditions in Appalachia, which makes the Christmas season very special to this region. Mm-hmm. One of the things that I know that Trevor and I will be touching on is over in the Mount Airy area of North Carolina, sometimes called the Round Peak section, and it has a big history of the traditional fiddle playing and banjo playing in the western North Carolina. And they have something called Breaking Up Christmas, which is a tradition of the musicians starting from Christmas Day all the way to Old Christmas on January the 6th, and they would go from house to house. From one night to the next, somebody would host an old-time music party where they would come and bring potlucks, and the people would feed the musicians, and they would go around the community, and they called it Breaking Up Christmas. I just love that term. And there's a fiddle tune called Breaking Up Christmas. Really? Yes, that they're probably, we'll go ahead and spill the beans. That's more than likely when the dancing elf is going to show up and do a little flat footing to Breaking Up Christmas.
Dancing elf.
The dancing elf.
I like the sound of that. That is really cool. I feel like we should bring that up here.
Yeah.
Like breaking up Christmas around here. Now that would be fun. I have a very tiny apartment, so I wouldn't be able to host, but I would love to be involved.
Well, it's definitely spread and still continued over in the Mount Airy area. They have a similar event that doesn't maybe last the whole time, but goes from Christmas and then ends up around New Year's, but that maybe make it to January the 6th.
Right.
12 days is kind of a long time to have a party every night.
Well,
well, maybe not.
Depending on who.
That's right. But other areas, Lexington, Virginia had a big Breaking Up Christmas tradition for old-time musicians during the 70s and 80s and some other areas in the country. But it really got started over in Mount Airy, and still that's the area where you can find it going on still.
Well, that sounds like a really, even if you did it maybe once or twice,
it's
just
good.
A great way to meet new people and hear some good old time music and fellowship with your community. And it sounds like that's what you guys have, a big heart for the community over at Mountain Home Music, and with keeping the traditions alive, and then also having some benefits.
Yeah,
At the end of the year, that's a really great thing that you guys
one
give
thing
back.
that Joe did was put his heart and soul in all those years into giving to the community. He was not just providing an outlet for the musicians and getting them recognition, but he was also giving opportunity to the folks in the high country when there were very few venues for people to go hear this kind of music. And it was through his work for all those years and his giving spirit that allowed Mountain Home Music to grow to where it is today. And the wonderful thing is now this Appalachian Christmas concert, which is going to be at the Grace Lutheran Church on Saturday night, starting at 7:30. It continues to shine the light on something that Joe was so known for, and that's giving back. And so we're going to be sharing with the community. We hope folks will come and join us. And then they pass the collection plates, and all that money goes to the Hospitality House and Santa's Toy Box.
Well, that just sounds like a wonderful event. Definitely going to try to make it out to that and see all the great performers and hear some really good Christmas music and hopefully see the Dancing Elf.
Yeah, Dancing Elf. Also, Mary Green will be showing up. I'm hoping that Mary's planning to do the Cherry Tree Carol, which is an Appalachian version of an old carol that was brought here to the mountains many hundreds of years ago. Also, that whole thing about Old Christmas seems to revolve around Appalachian stories. And I guess the long-term history of Appalachia is that people believed that on midnight on January the 6th that animals could talk.
Really? I've never heard that story.
That's a wonderful story about people going to their out to their barns and listen to the animals that were a part of the manger scene were able to communicate and to talk. So we'll have to follow up on that.
That sounds
You have to
very
come to the
interesting.
concert on Saturday night, and we'll tell you the rest of the story.
Well, after hearing the story, I might get the crew to come out. We might, on December 6th at midnight, we might check out some animals, see if we hear anything.
That'd be good, yeah.
That would be a pretty funny on-site.
We're waiting. I think there's a lot of waiting for that.
Interview some cows.
It's kind of like, it's like it's like when you finally fall asleep. Oh, you
Just
missed it. You just missed it. They just said, "Gosh, you see that guy snoring over there?"
Oh my goodness. All right, well, before we go, you actually we have a little treat that you're gonna share with
Hopefully.
us today. So you're gonna actually be flat-footing, kind of get us ready, get us in the Christmas spirit. It's perfect day, December 1st. I think that's why it took us so long to get you in here, because we were waiting for the perfect time for you to do a Christmas, get us in the spirit for Christmas.
Yes.
So you're gonna be doing flat fitting,
Right.
correct?
That's right.
And for those who may not know, tell us a little bit about what flat fitting is.
Well, flat footing is the traditional Appalachian step dancing style that really is known to have originated, or at least got popularized here in Western North Carolina. And my dance mentor is Mr. Robert Dotson, who's 91 years old, lives over in Sugar Grove, and he is a nationally known flat-foot dancer. He is credited for coming up with a step that the Greengrass Cloggers ended up naming the walking step, and it really changed our clogging style of dancing. When I think of clogging, I think of it being more about team dancing and about choreography and about everybody learning particular steps. But flat footing is more of freestyle dancing, more just reacting to the music as you're hearing it and you're interpreting it and you're the drummer to the music. And so Robert's step that we ended up figuring out how to do is what really opened up a whole nother door from the Greengrass Cloggers steps that we'd all been doing up to that time. We met him in 1978.
Oh,
I've been
wow.
dancing with the Greengrass Cloggers for 42 years.
Wow,
So
that's impressive.
It's been a while. and it's just a favorite thing to do, and it's something I've been doing in some of my shows and performances for the last few years is doing a little, I'll sing some song, and this one's going to have a seasonal flavor to it, and do a little percussion with my feet, a little flat footing while I'm singing.
Well, thank you. I'm so excited and ready to see this, and flat footing is really, really cool. So stay tuned, and when we come back, you'll be able to get a first-hand look at what exactly flat footing is.
Alrighty.
We'll be right back. Welcome back to MTN Live in the Mountains. I'm here with Rodney Sutton. He's going to be flat-footing for us today to a very known Christmas tune, all to get us in the spirit of Christmas and to give us a little taste of an Appalachian Christmas. It's an event that's going down on December 6th at 7:30 p.m., and that is put on by Mountain Home Music. And it's going to be at Grace Lutheran Church, and that is located at 115 East King Street. And this is what they do to kind of end their season and to also benefit two local nonprofits, Hospitality House and Santa's Toy Box. So take it away, Mr. Sutton.
All right. Thank you, Brittany. I'm going to do a little seasonal dance for you. And in honor of my good buddy Robert Dotson, the best flat footer ever, who lives over in Sugar Grove, I'm going to put a little cornmeal down on the board. And this cornmeal was actually purchased at one of Mountain Home Music's major sponsors, Mass General Store. And they actually have the correct kind. You have to have self-rising cornmeal when you put it down because it makes you light on your feet. So here goes my version of Jingle Bells. All right. Dashing through the snow in a one-horse open sleigh, o'er the fields we go, laughing all the way. Bells on bobtail ring, making spirits bright. What fun it is to laugh and sing a sleighing song tonight. Oh, jingle bells, jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is to ride in a one-horse open sleigh. Hey, jingle bells, jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is to ride in a one-horse open sleigh. For a year or two ago, I thought I'd take a ride with Miss Fanny Bright sitting by my side. The horse was leaning fast, misfortune was his lot. We got into a big snowbank and there we got upside. Oh, jingle bells, jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is to ride in a one-horse open sleigh. Jingle bells, jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is to ride in a one-horse open sleigh. There you go. Jingle bells. Hope to see you on Saturday night, December the 6th at Grace Lutheran Church.